Okay, here we are today at the helium plant, the secret chemical helium plant in Fort Worth in 1917 or so. There was the Fort Worth decided made a helium plant, and it actually still here. This is the guard shack right here, where the guards would come and keep people from coming in, because it was a military thing. It was under control, and there was actually wartime worries, I guess, about sabotage or people learning what we were doing, and they called it the argon plant for the longest time, but people finally figured out it was helium that was being made. Especially if you look up here to the north, that all this stuff wasn't here. This is all out in the middle of nowhere outside of Fort Worth, and that brown building is probably where the mooring mast was, 160-foot mooring mast, where they put up where the dirigibles came, like the Los Angeles, I think, and the Shenandoah. There was only 4 dirigibles that the Navy had during the time period, and 2 of them came here to dock and moor and fill up gas. When the first one came, 20,000 people showed up from Fort Worth, Tarrant County, and I don't know if there was. I thought somebody said there wasn't even 20,000 people registered for Tarrant County, so everybody showed up in the county to see this dirigible. The second one came sometime later, and Los Angeles, I believe, and 50,000 people showed up to see it more. And it came back about 1 in the morning, and nobody saw that very much, maybe 500 people a couple days later. I think we're going to move this way now and take a look at the actual plant that's still here. Okay, here we are at the actual helium plant. We can see what's still there. This is the helium plant, and if you look off over there, you'll see the pond where they had cooling water for the compressors. So what they would do is actually get a gas from a pipe from an oil field near Amarillo, I think Petronalia, and they bring that Petronalia field of gas all the way piped all the way here. It was piped here earlier for natural gas to help West Texas during the very bad cold seasons that they were having prior to 1910, and they got natural gas here to help heat the place up. So that's how the natural gas lines actually got here. And so when they were here, that's how they could get helium out. They would take that natural gas and compress it and get the helium out of the natural gas when it went down to cryogenic temperatures. And so they had the means to actually do that in the 1920s. So that's how that happened, and they kept doing that all the way through, say 1925, until they finally ran out of the oil field, and I guess Petronalia kind of ran down. But anyway, so as I was saying before, the dirigibles would come here, and they would moor at the place where the mooring pipe was, and stay and fill up with helium and supplies and go on. And one of them, like the Los Angeles, when it was coming in, it flew over Cleburne and dropped a message on to a household in Cleburne where the mother of the commander of the Los Angeles lived. So things like that happened here anyway. So I think we'll take a look at the other side. We can see the helium plant a little bit better, but it's quite amazing that it's still here. And this is another site where I don't think there's any Texas historical markers. It's just the Lost Fort Worth book by Mr. Nichols alerted us to its presence. So thank you. We'll go look at the other side. Yeah, so here we are at the another view of the plant. You can see a little bit better. You can see, that's the plant there, and they have little awnings still that used to be there. You can see that in earlier photographs. And then there were a lot of other buildings associated with it. You can see there's 2 or 3 here, but there was like 27 buildings associated with this facility. And so they made the helium, and it was the only helium plant actually in the United States. One of the reasons why I guess the Germans use hydrogen and not helium is because we could make it and they couldn't. We got our helium from gas pipelines and oil field stuff, and I don't think they did. They ended up using hydrogen. It has a better lifting ratio, but you know what happened? The Hindenburg blew up. And of course, even those 2 of those 4 dirigibles from the Navy also had bad ends, but mainly because of weather. So the dirigibles were not necessarily a good thing for the Navy to use. But the plant continued. They had one of these outbuildings also was used for things like they did a lot of noble gas research for argon, neon, helium, xenon, and stuff like that. The noble gases, and that worked its way into the development of neon lights. So this was an early place where they developed neon lights. And all the different, they're called neon lights, but they all have different mixtures of the argon, of the noble gases. And that's what a lot of the basic research on noble gases was done right here in Fort Worth in this facility. And so anyway, So I used to think maybe that mooring mast came from this building right here, but I learned later, reading about it today, that it was north over where we mentioned it before, over where that other building is. But anyway, about the mid-1970s, somebody bought this building, I forget who, and they were intended to fix it up almost like the stockyards and make it into a place that people could come in, but they had to run all the homeless people out. It was full of homeless people, and they had a lot of trash and stuff, and they ran out. Evidently, one of them got angry, came back and put some gasoline and torched the place, and there was a major fire, and the poor investor had to sell out and get out of it. And so it got all restored. Looks like a lot of it came back, but it was pretty well destroyed from the fire. So that happened. It would have, if that hadn't happened, maybe this would be a tourist spot. But now it looks like some record services and other people have bought it and put it to use. It would be interesting to walk in there, but it's all private, and they're kind of careful about who gets in. I haven't asked, but they don't look like they want to let me in. Now you notice there's another guard shack on this side right here. So here's another guard shack, showing that it was the military nature of this facility. So anyway, it's an amazing find. And again, I don't see any evidence around it. You drive by it all day long, you'd never know it was here if you didn't know something about it. So I'm letting you know. You can come down here and see. From the video today, I got a phone call come in and it cut me off in the last few things I was going to say, but all I was really going to say was thank you for watching the video. And we've enjoyed making these a few videos. That the helium plant is quite a fascinating place to me, that has intertwined science and history and development of the area, and World War I and World War II, and the drama of the dirigibles, and just 1920s flavor to the whole atmosphere. It makes you wish somebody would write a book about it or something. Maybe I'll think about that. But anyway, we will continue to do these videos as we have opportunity, and I hope that you enjoy them.